The NBA playoffs can be hard to watch as a fan of a lottery team. The deeper they run, the harder the realization hits. Your team has a long way to go. And it's no different with the Houston Rockets' approach to the draft with tons of needs. They need wings and rim protection. They need playmaking. Basically, they need good players. And fortunately enough for them, there are a lot of them in this year's draft. With this year's draft being light on clear-cut, undeniable future superstars, it does have a good draft as far as depth-wise. As it stands, the Rockets are primed to select 3rd and 17th overall. The Rockets should have a ton of options if they want to trade up from the 17th overall pick. And it may be costly, but if they see someone they like on the board, they should be able to get them. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 4 players that the Houston Rockets could target in a trade-up scenario. Let's talk about Usman Garuba. The dude is a 6'10 playmaker, and you don't see very much of those guys in the league right now that can handle the ball like he can. He's a fluid athlete with exceptional passing vision. And it's not for some early season shooting woes with the New Zealand Breakers. Dang would definitely be a top 10 prospect in this draft. And for what it's worth, you guys, his jump shot is fluid and its mechanics are solid, but it's a little bit, I'd say, not pretty. If Stone is willing to chalk up those early struggles to rawness, he might be willing to take a flyer on Dang. Now, make no mistake about it. This is a high ceiling, low floor prospect. And in my mind, Dang is either Pascal Siakam or he's some guy you've never heard of before. Coming in at number 2, Dyson Daniels from the G League affiliate Ignite. Of all the prospects on the list in this video, Daniels would be the most ambitious target. He's gaming near the top 5 consideration, and he probably won't be a Houston Rocket, but with that said, this draft gets unpredictable outside of the top 4. If the Rockets could trade into the 10 to 13 overall pick range, Daniels could be available. He could be a major steal if he is. He's either a 6'7 wing with point guard skills or a 6'7 point guard with wing defense. As it happens, the Rockets absolutely need wing defenders, or they may not need a point guard at some point. In other words, Daniels' development ought to suit the Rockets no matter which direction it takes. If he wants to be a full-time point guard in the NBA, he'll probably need to improve his ball handling. It's solid at best, but Daniels is currently a straight line driver. A little more shiftiness in his movement would go a long way. He'd also need to improve his shooting. We've seen the recent history of non-shooting ball handlers, and it's not very pretty, a la Ben Simmons. But still, like Dang, the foundation is there. Daniels' jumper is not fundamentally broken. 3rd on the list is Ochai Agbaji out of Kansas. Agbaji's appeal to the Rockets is probably contingent on his positional versatility. He's generally regarded as a 2, but could he produce in the NBA as a 3? In all likelihood, the answer is yes. He's listed at 6'5", but he's got a 6'10 wingspan, and that should allow him to guard wings in the NBA. If Stone feels the same, Agbaji could be a great target for the Rocket squad. Agbaji may never be a big-time shot creator, but he ought to be a connective piece. He's the type of player that the Rockets will be glad to have when they're competitive again. Now, do I wish Agbaji was 6'8"? 100%. But he's still a player I'd be ecstatic to see the Rockets land in this draft. Next up on the list, out of LSU, Tari Eason. Finally, we get on one player in this piece that Stone may not even need to trade up to get. He might just be the best fit for the Rockets overall. Eason is a 6'8" combo forward with a 7'3" wingspan, and he brings relentless aggression on the defensive end that these Rockets are sorely lacking. He uses his long arms and quick feet to create havoc in both passing lanes and the interior. Offensively, I'd say Eason is, on the kind sign, a bit raw, but the dude's got potential, don't worry. In terms of shooting, he's basically the inverse of Dang. The shot is ugly, I'm not gonna lie, but he connected on a solid 35.9% of his long-range attempts during his last season at LSU. Was that a fluke? Or is Eason one of the long line of forwards with an ugly but effective jumper? It reminds me of Sean Marion's shot, the one I would equip on 2K to make the defenders go, what is he doing? But just like butter, it was cool. Yes, Marion comparison is a little bit ambitious, and I don't really care. But this is very important. If the Rockets trade up to get Eason, take note. That means they weren't willing to risk him not slipping to 17. So that leads me into today's question. Which one of these prospects should the Rockets trade up to get? In my opinion, I think they go for Tari Eason if he's not there at 17. That guy just seems like a perfect fit for this Rockets rotation. That's in my opinion, but let me know what your guys' opinion is in the comment section. And tomorrow, we'll be back better than ever with some more Houston Rockets basketball. But until then, Rockets fans, like always, I'll save y'all a seat. Peace.